Welcome back. You're watching Overdrive. Station wagons can be so practical that they're often considered boring. But what if it accelerates quicker than most other sports cars out there and can even reach a speed in excess of 300 kilometers an hour? Well, Rohit was equally awestruck at those figures and decided to go driving on a Sunday morning in the new Audi RS6 Avant to see what a fast estate car feels like.
Our job as motoring journalists is not only about driving cars. You also get to go behind the scenes, see how a car is manufactured or see what happens in a design studio or even experience the technology being developed. But what I would also like to be a part of is a product planning meet because I'm pretty sure it's a very exciting place. After all, look at this car. Someone decided to build a station wagon on the A6 platform and then someone said it should sound like this. And then someone said it should go like this. And what a way it goes! Under that hood is a 4-litre bi-turbo V8 engine. It puts out 560 PS of power and a colossal 700 Newton meters of torque. The result? Before you know it, you're already at illegal speed. 0 to 100 comes up in 3.9 seconds flat. That's hardly half a second slower than the R8. The top speed is restricted to 250 kilometers an hour, and if you say please to Audi with a lot of money, they can upgrade it to 280 or even 305 kilometers an hour. That is coming from a car that is 5 meters long and over 2 tons in weight with a driver and fluids included. If you have noticed, these are the same figures that you get on the more aerodynamic RS7 Sportback. So you see, the engineers at Audi take their product meetings rather seriously. This car weighs in at about 2 tons, which is almost similar to that of the RS7. But unlike the RS7, this one makes its weight evident, especially when you're tackling corners. There's a lot of body roll, you can feel that weight moving around. The suspension tends to be a little squishy even in the dynamic mode. And then there is the quattro all-wheel drive system, so you have plenty of grip. That also means that you have that inherent understeer. In fact, there's a lot of understeer on this vehicle. So if you want to take it to track days, I'm not sure how much fun you're going to have it unless you start getting the tail sideways. But when I say a lot of body roll, it is relative to the sports cars that you have in the same price bracket. It feels on par with something like the M5, but the grip from the quattro makes it safer at speed and prevents the car from suddenly snapping back at you like the M5 or the E63. The downside to that is that the RS6 doesn't feel as involving to drive, but it makes up for it with impeccable grip and stability. And believe me, on our road conditions, you would rather have a beast that doesn't want to bite back. What that also means is that you have to plan your corners, your lines perfectly on this car. Because like I said, before you even know it, you are at triple-digit speeds. In fact, you are at illegal speeds. So it not only requires you to have more attention, it also requires you to plan well in advance exactly where you want to place the car and how you want to take a particular turn or how you want to even change lanes in fact. The initial throttle input is relaxed to prevent you from shooting off the red light at stupid speeds. But once beyond the first few degrees of throttle input, the RS6 gets ferociously hungry and gobbles up the road. You can make the engine and the gearbox respond sharper by pushing the car into dynamic mode. Oh, and it also makes a lot more noise in that case. One piece of advice here, like the RS7, even the RS6 Avant comes with an option of 21-inch wheels. The stock one comes with 20 inches and I would suggest you stick to those 20 inches because with the 21 inches, the tires are even lower in profile and that makes the alloy more susceptible to damage, especially on our road conditions. Believe me, that's not a very pleasant sight having that big rim crack. I strongly recommend taking the option for a spare wheel or a space saver, unless you fancy summoning a flatbed truck.
Audi says the space saver won't eat up the boot space either. And speaking of boot space, there's plenty of it. It deserves a mention here because if you weren't thinking of practicality, you would rather go for a sports car now, wouldn't you? The rear seats are plush but good for 2 adults and a kid. I prefer the individual rear buckets of the RS6 instead. The front seats are amazing. They are nicely bolstered and hold you in place even when you're cornering at speed. Finding the right driving position isn't difficult either, thanks to all the electrical adjustments. If you're upgrading from another Audi, the switchgear and its placement and feel will be familiar to you. If this is your first Audi though, you will appreciate the tactile feel of the switches and the fit and finish of the cabin components and upholstery. The carbon fiber inserts and the Alcantara is alluring, and the all-black cabin adds to that effect. Some say that the display panel for the instrumentation in the new TT would make the cabin more up-to-date, but I prefer the real analog dials instead. It goes too well with the station wagon theme. But this is not just any station wagon. You look at it and you know it is different. Compared to the A6 that it is based on, the wheel arches are broader and make the car look wider. The bumpers make it look more ground-hugging with their deep skirts. The RS6 badges and the Quattro emblem on the large single-piece grille tell you that this car is different. The big air dams swallow large amounts of air and the V8 mixes it with generous quantities of fuel, enough to send you back to the fuel station frequently and to create those spine-tingling crackling sounds in the exhaust system.
The kind of noise this car makes is simply amazing. It is a typical V8 roar. You have that crackle every time you let go of the throttle or every time you downshift. So on a lazy Sunday morning, if you're driving this car around the highway, you're going to wake up a lot of people, either with the sound or with the sheer disbelief that this car creates. A station wagon doing those sort of speeds.
And be it weekend drive to the twisties or the weekly runabout, the RS6 does it all with utter ease. If the ground clearance wasn't so low, I would recommend this car over a Porsche Macan or any of the AMG SUVs even. It is quick, understated and yet exclusive in its own way. And that last bit asks for a premium, and that is where stablemate complicates things a little.
For the kind of money that this car is asking, the RS7 could make more sense. It looks sportier, has 4 individual seats, and more importantly, it can turn out to be a better track tool than this. But then, the look on the face of a sports car driver when a station wagon overtakes him, that is priceless.
Well, a practical runabout that can be as fast as a sports car sounds like the most ideal combination for a speed junkie. But for those looking for a ride in the lap of luxury in a go-anywhere vehicle, the new Q7 could make perfect sense. We review the second generation Q7 in Switzerland, but that's coming up for you on Overdrive next week, so remember to tune in. But for now, from all of us here on the team, goodbye, many thanks for watching. Stay in touch with us on Facebook and Twitter and catch the highlights of our show on our YouTube channel.